we set to see 2 new champions at WrestleMania? Possibly even more. Let's talk about that in today's Wrestling Ramble. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Coming off of Monday Night Raw this week, it's been confirmed by WWE that we have 2 title matches at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley is going to challenge Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title, and Cody Rhodes is taking on Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal belt. Of course, it was obvious that Cody Rhodes was going to take on Roman Reigns, but we didn't know what Rhea Ripley was doing. She hinted at Bianca. She also hinted at Charlotte, noting how both of these champions have wins over her and she'd like to get them back. She's announced she's facing Charlotte, so there it is. With these 2 matches confirmed, I wanted to give some early predictions on these as well as some potential matchups that could be made. So let's get into it. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. Right off the bat, I'm taking Rhea Ripley to win this match. Charlotte Flair came back, immediately won the SmackDown Women's belt from Ronda Rousey. We haven't seen Ronda since. Who knows where she is at, if she's going to come back or what she'll do. She had talked about being a tag team with Shayna Baszler. The 2 had been appearing on screen more, so I think Ronda's out of the singles title picture. Maybe she'll get the tag belts with Shayna to kind of check that off her bucket list essentially for pro wrestling. Charlotte winning the SmackDown Women's title on her comeback night was a big moment, got WWE trending, and you made a star at the Royal Rumble in Rhea Ripley. That's what WWE did. They made a star in Rhea Ripley. She has been phenomenal in the Judgment Day. She does her best work as a heel. She's a decent babyface too, but as a heel, she is awesome. And like I said, how Rhea pointed out at the post-Royal Rumble press conference, Charlotte Flair has a win over her. She's lost to her before. I believe lost the NXT title to her. So now Rhea gets to get her win back, become the SmackDown Women's Champion, get a huge win at WrestleMania. Check, check, check. I'm taking Rhea Ripley to defeat Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania 39. Moving on, we've got the other confirmed match for WrestleMania. More than likely, these 2 matches will be the main events for night 1 and then the main event for night 2. We've got Cody Rhodes versus the champion, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and you have to think this is where Cody Rhodes gets it done. All this build-up, all the packages. Oh man, can we just stop to talk about how great those injury updates and those packages were? That's one thing that WWE has, is production quality. That's what they bring to the table. They have the highest value of production of any pro wrestling company. Maybe that's not saying much because there's not a whole lot of pro wrestling companies out there, but you can compare that to UFC, you can compare that to the NFL or whatever big organization that's similar to it. That was an awesome package by any standard. By any standard. What they've done to build Cody Rhodes has been incredible. Him getting injured prior to Hell in a Cell, competing at Hell in a Cell with that injury, and coming back at the Royal Rumble, that was a blessing in disguise, because it set it up perfectly for a Royal Rumble return, a Rumble win, and now a WrestleMania triumph. And as Cody Rhodes has said, he's just been himself. And that's the beauty of this run. He's come back to WWE, formerly was the Stardust character, did Dashing Cody Rhodes, went through all these phases, was in Legacy, and now he's come back, he's just himself. As he said, the American Nightmare is just a nickname. It's Cody Rhodes out there, and it's beautiful to watch. He's on a mission to get the WWE title, the title his father never officially had. While the bloodline has been great, especially with the addition of Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes is what is hot right now. You've got to pull the trigger, and I'm taking Cody Rhodes to defeat Roman Reigns for the undisputed title. I think we're going to see 2 new champions at the least at WrestleMania 39. So those are the 2 confirmed matches. Those are my picks for the 2 confirmed matches that we'll see at WrestleMania 39. Now we're going to move on to the matches that are unconfirmed, that I also think are pretty likely to happen based on what we've seen. So we've got the Usos defending either the undisputed tag titles or one or the other, the Raw or SmackDown tag titles, against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So at the Rumble, Roman Reigns had his match with Kevin Owens, a brutal affair. Those 2 times where Roman Reigns threw Kevin Owens into the steel steps, oh, Oh, that was hard to watch. That was, oh man, what a great match. What a great match and what a great story they're telling there. Sami Zayn finally sticks up for himself and sticks up for his longtime friend, and it sets up the match that's been rumored, a tag team bout between Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Usos. It'll be interesting to see where Jey Uso fits into all this, seeing as though he walked out on the bloodline after Sami turned on Roman and the beatdown began. Jey took no part in the beatdown. He didn't want to do that, had really formed a bond with Sami despite them getting off on the wrong foot initially. Just such a great angle, such a great storyline. Now, initially I had seen a report, and I talked about this in a previous ramble, that the Usos were going to drop one of the tag titles, either the Raw or SmackDown belts, with the idea being that if they lose one of the tag titles, then fans will think they're more likely to lose the belts when the time comes for, let's say, WrestleMania. I don't know if they're still going to do that. It doesn't really make sense for the Usos to just go against another tag team at Elimination Chamber, drop the SmackDown tag belts, for example, or the Raw tag belts, and then defend the other set at WrestleMania against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Like, what, are Sami and KO going to cost them the belts at Elimination Chamber? Then, oh, now you've really made us mad. There's already the selling point there. We already know why they're mad at each other. We already get the feud. It's been going on forever. This might as well be for the Undisputed Tag title. Sami Zayn has got to get some redemption here. I don't see how you don't put Sami Zayn in the win column. And Kevin Owens too. Kevin Owens is coming off of a loss to Roman Reigns. Of course, it was for the big one, and he got a main event spot at the Royal Rumble. Still, I think you have to give this to Owens and Zayn. Let me know what you guys think about that. I could also see the Usos retaining just to keep some, I don't want to say gold, the belts are silver, right? To keep some belts on the bloodline. Still, I think you have to give Zayn a win, and Owens could use one as well. Moving on, there was an announced Elimination Chamber bout on Raw as well. Of course, we had the US title one, and then we had the Women's Elimination Chamber, where the winner is going to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's strap. So far, we've got Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Nikki Cross in it, with 2 participants to be decided. Out of these 4, you got to think Raquel Rodriguez is winning. I don't know who else you put in there. Regardless, I see Raquel Rodriguez as the favorite to win that match and challenge Bianca Belair for the title. This is a tricky one because, as I stated, with making a star out of Rhea Ripley and winning the Royal Rumble, you could make a star out of Raquel Rodriguez, but I don't think it's the time yet. I think you can build her up a little bit more. They'll put on a great match. Raquel will push Bianca to the limit, but I see Belair retaining her Raw Women's title in a WrestleMania match against Raquel Rodriguez. Moving on, we've got the rubber match between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Now, it looks like what they're going to do is Brock Lesnar versus Gunther at Elimination Chamber. Lashley will probably end up getting involved, and then we've got Lashley Lesnar 3 at WrestleMania 39. This is a tricky one too. Lashley is around more, so you would think he could use the credibility. It's been also confusing because Lashley tried to be a babyface at first, and then Lesnar's just coming in and beating the tar out of it. I don't know who's who. I think Lesnar's a babyface and Lashley's the heel. Lashley's definitely a heel now, right? I'm not sure. I'm thinking Lashley wins this, but I could also see Lesnar getting it as well. So moving on, we've got, more than likely, Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. As you'll recall, Rey Mysterio's music played at the Royal Rumble. He didn't make his entrance. Then Dominik came out with his mask and tried to tear it up. The assumption was that Dom beat him up in the backstage area and he couldn't get out. The report stated that Rey had injured himself nights before for a taping, and they were going back and forth on whether he should still be involved in the Rumble. They ultimately decided not to do that and to run with some kind of angle, yet no one explained it. The commentators barely acknowledged it, but that was to set up some kind of WrestleMania match, I would think. When it comes to Dom versus Rey, instinctively you would think Dominik gets the win, right? Rey's going to put over his son. We need to build a star in Dominik, but for some reason, I'm thinking Rey Mysterio gets it done. You get a feel-good moment for the fans for Rey to get another win. Dominik's real young too. Same reason for Bianca Belair beating Raquel Rodriguez. I think you can build Dom later, but if they're looking to write Rey Mysterio off, if Rey wants to be done, he wanted to be tag champions with his son. He wanted to have a match with his son. Well, now he's done one. He's about to do the other. He could be done with WWE and pro wrestling for the most part after this. If that's the case, you got to think Dominik Mysterio gets the win. If Rey is sticking around, I'd have to go with Rey Mysterio. Then we've got another Judgment Day member, Finn Balor, looking to take on Edge. This is another tough one to pick. I don't think Edge needs the win. I don't know how you finish off this storyline between Judgment Day and Edge. Of course, it got put on the back burner because of injury on the part of Edge, but how you finish it, I don't know. I feel like Judgment Day could use some credibility. If Dom and Finn could come out as winners and Rhea as champion, that would be huge bragging rights. They would have a good segment the following Raw. For that reason, I think I'm going to pick Finn Balor to beat Edge. Now we've got Austin Theory versus John Cena. Right out of the gate, taking Austin Theory. They're going to have an actual match. It's not going to be one of these 20-second, 2-minute affairs like what John Cena did with The Undertaker. This is going to be close to a classic, I would think. This will be a good one. Austin Theory, after his, failed cash-in mishap, either he will lose the U.S. title and face John Cena, or what would be better, he faces John Cena for the U.S. title. That would be awesome, I think. So I think Austin Theory gets a successful United States title defense against John Cena. And then finally, we move to Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. We talked about this in the previous Ramble, so I won't go too much into detail on it. Instinctively, I'm thinking Seth Rollins wins, but Logan Paul obviously pushes him to the limit like he did Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is going to get a good match out of him, I feel. But what if Logan Paul won? Oh, can you imagine him making fun of Seth after that? And maybe they do another match? I don't know. I just think that would be so funny if Logan Paul could get a big win and he could play it up to the crowd and they could keep booing him. Oh, I feel like we could go places with that. I'm picking Seth Rollins, but it would be so awesome if Logan Paul won. All right, those are my very early predictions for WrestleMania 39. Like I said, we had 2 matches announced on Raw, so I wanted to definitely cover those. And for the most part, it looks like these matches are being built up. They're being structured. They're going to be set in stone at some point. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But those are my early WrestleMania 39 match predictions. Be sure to let me know what you guys think. Who do you think will win these bouts? I want to hear from you. That's all I've got. I'll see y'all later.